Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cracking open a set of documents that they really lay out a pretty radical blueprint for what retail could look like in the next century.
It's fascinating stuff. We're moving away from, the typical focus on supply chains and e-commerce.
Yeah, exactly. The source material we have is all about how a physical presence, a real place, can actually become your most valuable asset, especially now in such a digital world.
And we're diving into a very specific project here, the San Pedro local market and its tech counterpart, Voxel Micro Video Labs.
Which is such an interesting mix.
It is. They took this beautiful, historic 1922 JCPenney building and decided to turn it into, well, not just a store. They made it a professional, high-volume content generator.
So our mission for you, the listener, is to really unpack this specific business model with us. Think of it like strategic architecture. How do you bridge a century-old building with truly cutting-edge tech?
And a very focused strategy, a strategy designed to combat a surprisingly common modern problem.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this blueprint.
Our goal here is to figure out why this isn't just another market, but, a real testing ground for a new way to launch and scale a creative business.
And it all starts with the problem this whole thing was built to solve. It's not market share, it's not capital. The sources say it's loneliness.
Yeah, the strategic cost of isolation, that really stands out in the material. The fatigue they talk about isn't just being overworked.
It's something deeper.
It's a lack of productive friction. It's that image they paint of the entrepreneur, alone in a spare bedroom at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Probably wearing sweatpants.
Absolutely. And their biggest collaborative meeting is with the CAD about, Q3 projections. That kind of environment is just toxic for innovation over the long term.
And they specifically call out the digital substitutes, which I think is so important. Being tired of those endless Zoom calls where you just know everyone is secretly checking their email.
Or trying to pitch your big idea to a barista who really only cares about your oat milk latte.
Right. You can't build a real brand when your only audience is a comment section on a social media post.
And that's where the human requirement comes in. The sources get very specific here. They use these powerful words like, we need friction, we need collision.
You need to actually look someone in the eye.
And shake their hand. The whole argument is that if your entire process for founding and validating a business is digital, you miss all the sparks. The random collaborations, the ideas that only happen when you literally bump into someone.
So the premise is simple. Isolation leads to stagnation. If you want to move fast, you need those physical interactions.
You need people bumping into you, challenging you, working with you.
And you need that unfiltered, real-time feedback.
Exactly. The sources put it so well. They say empires weren't meant to be built by interpreting SurveyMonkey results. They're built on gut feelings that are validated by real human responses right then and there.
So if isolation is the disease, then the strategic cure is physical contact. Which brings us to their solution, which they actually call the playground.
I love that name. The playground is the ground floor and mezzanine of that historic building, the San Pedro local market.
Yeah.
It's the physical antidote to that lonely spare bedroom.
And it's designed specifically for high-energy, transient interactions, not for, permanent stores.
Right.
But, reading through the documents, I have to wonder, what makes this so revolutionary? Isn't this just a really beautiful, very expensive indoor flea market? Where's the actual innovation?
That's a fair question. And the sources see it coming because they immediately define what the space is not.
Okay.
It's not a stuffy antique hall. It's not a sterile food court. They call it a kinetic space, a curated pop-up landscape. So the innovation, it's in the curation and the metrics they track.
Tell me more about that curation. Who actually gets to play in this playground?
The sourcing is apparently meticulous. The space is only for artisans, makers, and small batch brands. It's built for that entrepreneur who gets the strategic order of things. You can't go global digital until you've mastered hyperlocal physical.
Okay, let's unpack that sequence. What does mastering hyperlocal physical actually mean in this building?
It means proving your concept works in 3 dimensions. Face-to-face, over and over. The vendors are on a rotating schedule, maybe 90 days, which forces them to treat the market like a high-stakes focus group.
So it's not just about selling.
Not at all. Mastery here is proving your elevator pitch works on real people. It's finding your ideal customer by just talking to them. It's getting real-time data on which color, which flavor gets the most excitement.
So the purpose of the market isn't just a sales channel. It's a testing ground for scaling up. They're making sure, as they say, that the energy of the street meets the strategy of the business.
Precisely. Before you go and commit to mass production or a huge digital ad spend, if your new scented candle or your handmade wallet doesn't connect when people can see it and touch it, a fancy website isn't going to save you.
This market provides that immediate, unfiltered feedback loop, the kind of spreadsheet just can't give you.
It validates the entire reason for the product to exist in the first place.
And this intense focus on physical experience, it leads us right to the project's tech centerpiece. This is where 1922 and, like, Blade Runner collide. They call it the Monolith.
Ah, yes, the Don Allen twist.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
It's this intentional high contrast tension. You have the permanence of the historic brick, which says longevity, and then the transience of digital media, which changes every second. They literally injected a piece of pure digital spectacle into the historic bones of the building.
And we should be specific about what this thing is. It's a dramatic 16-foot tall by 30-foot wide immersive digital wall. It just commands the entire space.
It's huge.
But how do you put a massive jumbotron inside a historic landmark without it just feeling tacky?
Well, I think the sheer scale is the point. It's meant to be a visual shockwave, and it serves one single critical strategic function,
which is to bridge the physical interaction on the floor with the global digital story.
It's the connector. It takes all that energy from the playground and immediately elevates it into broadcast content that literally stops you in your tracks.
So how does it work? Is it just playing ads on a loop, or is it actually reacting to what's happening on the floor?
It's designed to be dynamic. Reactive. It's fueled by what they call the engine, which is downstairs. The system coordinates the content based on what's happening in the physical space in real time.
So if a vendor is having a great hour,
the system is designed to immediately put that success story up on the giant screen. It turns, just browsing into a real experiential retail moment.
Okay, let's walk through the example they give because it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Imagine you're a customer. You're at a stall, maybe looking at some custom jewelry.
You're talking to the artisan, you're feeling the material.
Then a few moments later, you just happen to look up.
And boom, that exact same artisan is now on the 30-foot monolith above you. And the source is clear on this. It's not some shaky phone video. It's high-quality professional content from the studios downstairs.
Maybe a short clip explaining their unique process or where they source their materials.
That's the key. That's the shift. You experience the product in your hands, you feel its texture, and then you immediately see the story, the context, the why behind it all on this massive high-impact screen.
The founders state this clearly in the documents. This is how you turn a casual passerby into a superfan.
It gives you context and social proof right at the point of purchase. The physical interaction builds trust, but the digital spectacle that builds desire and loyalty.
Something traditional retail just can't do.
It can't synthesize it that quickly.
And that content needs constant fuel.
Yeah.
Which brings us downstairs to Voxel Micro Video Labs, the engine. This is where the whole symbiotic relationship becomes, an operational reality.
Absolutely. If the market is the playground where life and collision happen, Voxel is the engine room. It's where that life is professionally captured and then broadcast out to the world.
And the key strategic insight here is that the market isn't just for selling. It's explicitly described in the material as a content farm.
Every single interaction, every sellout, every new collaboration that happens on that ground floor is defined as fuel for the studios downstairs.
The business model demands it. Physical success has to immediately feed the digital output.
And we need to be clear about what this studio is. It's not just a back room with a ring light. The Voxel Labs have dedicated sound booths, pro 4K cameras, full lighting grids, editing suites.
So they're giving a small independent vendor the kind of production capacity usually reserved for huge global brands.
It transforms the whole idea of a retail location. They've completely eliminated that huge time lag between a successful physical moment and being able to actually capitalize on it digitally.
Let's talk about the specific content types. They go way beyond just, a quick reaction video.
Oh, for sure. Think about collaboration. Let's say a coffee roaster and a ceramicist meet at the coffee bar in the market and they hit it off. They decide to collaborate on a new line of mugs.
Normally, that would mean weeks of follow-up emails and trying to schedule meetings.
Exactly. But here, the source suggests you just invite them downstairs to the sound booth and record a mini podcast right then. You capture the genesis of that idea, that spontaneous energy, instantly.
That speed it's revolutionary. Another example they give is instructional videos.
Right? A vendor is selling, say, a complex weaving kit.
Instead of a QR code that leads to a confusing website, they can just pop downstairs, use the professional lights and cameras, and film a crisp 5-minute how-to video.
And that video can then be pushed to the Monolith upstairs, playing right there on the sales floor. It turns a complicated product into something that feels accessible and exciting to a customer.
And then, of course, the immediate reaction video. A small batch candle maker sells out of a new product in the first hour.
That's social proof gold. That's a huge win.
And instead of just noting it on an inventory sheet, the process mandates they go film a quick, authentic reaction video with a buzz of the market right there in the background.
And that success is digitized, uploaded, and blasted across all their social channels. It leverages the physical buzz to drive digital traffic, maybe back to their online store, or even back to the physical market for their next drop.
The playground creates this story.
And the engine room captures it, packages it, and sends it out.
It's a totally integrated feedback loop. It fuses sales, marketing, and community building all into one single location.
It's a powerful model. It solves two huge pain points with one piece of real estate: the creator's isolation and the sheer difficulty of standing out in a crowded digital world. It gives small businesses an arsenal of content they could never create on their own.
So what does this all mean? We've seen this integrated model take shape. You solve isolation with the playground, you master local commerce with intense feedback, and then you immediately translate that success into a global story using the monolith and the engine room.
The biggest takeaway for me is that the traditional wall between sales, the physical transaction, and marketing, the digital story, is just completely collapsing.
If the success of a small business, the sellout, the collaboration, is immediately broadcast on a 30-foot screen for everyone to see.
It raises a really important question for any future retail development.
Which is?
Does every successful retail space now need a content farm as its sibling? If the core value of a physical location is no longer just the transaction, but its ability to generate high-quality, authentic media that feeds its global digital presence.
Then maybe the cost of rent now has to include the cost of a film studio.
Maybe. If you build a new high street store without a studio attached, are you just building half a business? We've explored the playground and the monolith. But that leads us to the next critical question. How is Voxel Micro Video Labs actually managed? And what's the cost model that makes this professional engine accessible to these small makers? Something for you to mull over until the next deep dive.